Hi, welcome to the read of May 2026, y'all. I'm reading in the Love Exquisite Magazine, which you can access for free on Love Exquisite on my Instagram, Love Exquisite LLC, I should say. Love Exquisite LLC on my Instagram page. Click on my Instagram page, click in the profile, and you'll get a link to the entire magazine. My name is Lynette, and I'm reading in the For the Love of Relationships section, y'all. For the Love of Relationships, y'all know I'm a hopeless romantic. So the article is titled Future or Fear. Woo! I listen. I come up with these good ones, some tools and jewels that you can use if you're willing and open-minded enough to actually listen and apply what you learn. So in every relationship, and sometimes I'll be speaking to myself, y'all. I really do. So I need these words just as much as I'm giving them to you. In every relationship, there will be outside voices, friends, family, or even colleagues, coworkers, or even strangers. They will have opinions about whether they believe if a couple belongs together or not. You may even find that you will have thoughts that are not always optimistic about the possible future of your relationship. Traditional and non traditional relationships can last, but only if two people want the relationship to last and if both parties are willing to work together to build and maintain a happy and healthy relationship. You cannot do a relationship alone. You cannot. It takes two people to work hard together to keep the relationship together if that's what the both of them want to do. If one person doesn't want it and they're not willing to work towards it, it won't work. Not long term. They may stay there um physically, but mentally and emotionally they've checked out, and eventually you too will then check out as well. So you got to work together if you want to make it work. When discussing your relationship goals with others, some advice can come from a place of care. Not all people giving advice from a place of care. So you got to have the spirit of discernment to determine where the advice is coming from. So not all of it reflects the reality of the relationship itself. So when people give you advice, sometimes, even myself, you got to take it in stages and doses. You know what I mean? Because I don't know your life. I don't know your relationship. I don't know your mate. I don't know you, some of you. So, and I don't know your situations. So, and every situation is different, and what works for one person might not necessarily work for somebody else. Each relationship is unique. So, you know what you need for your relationship, for your life, and for your happiness. So, you got to keep that in mind when people are giving you advice, because nobody knows all of your story. So because they don't, the advice might be coming from a good place, but it might not always be the best advice for you, if that makes sense. If the person doesn't know all of the story, like, if, for example, if you're in an abusive relationship and nobody knows that but you, because you hide your bruises or you hide whatever it is that you're going through, and then you go to somebody and be like, oh, I'm thinking about leaving my husband, or but you're not forthcoming as to why, or I'm thinking about leaving this relationship, and you're not forthcoming as to why. The person that you go to confide in, they might say, oh no, you shouldn't leave him, he's such a nice guy, because they don't know behind the scenes what you might go through. So that's why I'm saying you are the best person to make those decisions. You can take in bits and pieces, doses of advice based on how much they know about your story. You know what I mean? If you want the best advice, then you have to be honest with whom you're seeking advice from. You got to tell them the whole story, not half of it. So, back to the article. When discussing your relationship goals with others, some advice can come from a place of care, but not all of it reflects the reality of the relationship itself. So, when two people share a genuine connection, mutual respect, and a deep understanding of one another, those outside opinions should not outweigh what the couple knows to be true. Couples should always keep in mind that a strong relationship is built within, not without, not defined by external judgment. Mm, mm, mm. Couples who are truly meant to be together often face challenges, including doubt from others, as well as sometimes they doubt themselves. These moments can either weaken the bond or strengthen it if you don't let people penetrate that bond. Depending on how the couple responds to the doubt will determine whether it strengthens the bond or weakens it. Choosing to stand together, communicate openly, and support one another through the criticism, it can reinforce trust and unity. It becomes less about proving others wrong and more about protecting the connection that feels right to both partners. Sometimes, as feelings grow stronger, couples can begin to be fearful that one or the other might get hurt emotionally. So, being emotionally vulnerable can open you up to both the possibility of loving a lasting bond and or the possibility of a traumatic end. There's no guarantee. You don't know which end of the spectrum you're going to end on, but if it's worth it and the both of you love each other and y'all fighting to keep it together and make it work, shut out the noise and just love each other, love on each other. So if both of you believe in each other and in the relationship with one another, you may find that there is beauty in there. There's a blessing in there. There's a blessing in focusing more on where you see each other in the future. Maybe not necessarily where you see each other now, but where you see each other in the future. And be realistic about that as well. And do not let the fear of being hurt, destroy what you want for your future. So if you see your mate in your future and you're like, we're going to make it and I love this person and I think this is my muse, this is my person, this is my twin flame, this is my soulmate, whatever you call it. It just takes the two of you to agree and be on one accord and work together to continue that beautiful relationship blossoming into something even more. So people on the outside looking in, they might tell you that your relationship is not going to last, or that this person is not the right person for you, or that it shouldn't last. If they truly believe that the relationship is like not ideal or unconventional in some way, if it's something that they wouldn't do themselves. But you got to ignore the naysayers. If the two of you love each other, you got to ignore the naysayers. And ignoring the naysayers doesn't mean that you're being blind to real issues. It means that you know the difference between constructive concern and unnecessary negativity, envy, and jealousy even. Healthy relationships require honesty, growth, and accountability, but they also require confidence. Ooh. When a couple understands their values and shares a vision for their future, they are better equipped to tune out distractions and remain focused on each other and what truly matters, each other. If the two of you want the relationship to last, remember that love is a personal journey. Love is a personal journey. So it's specific solely to you, nobody else. That only the two people in the relationship can fully experience it. So keep that in mind as well. No one else sees every moment, understands every conversation, or feels the depth of the bond that you two have or the love that you have for one another. So when two people are meant to be together, their commitment, resilience, and belief in each other can rise above any doubt or fear. So by trusting your connection and staying grounded in love, the two of you can create a relationship that speaks louder than any fear or criticism from anybody else. Somebody say, oh, he too fat, she too short, she too old, he too young, they too skinny, they not cute enough, they're not smart enough, they don't have enough money, they don't make enough money, whatever it is that you might hear about your mate. If the two of y'all want to rock out, you know what I mean? Don't listen to what people had to say. So even when fear creeps in, because sometimes you're your own worst critic and you're fearful of being hurt, so you kind of are waiting for the ball to drop sometimes. and just live. You know what I mean? Don't wait for the ball to drop. Love today, period. Love today. So even when fear creeps in, especially the fear, excuse me, y'all, the fear that a partner may walk away due to doubts about the future. Like if y'all not on the same page and one of y'all doubt, is this really going to work out? Is, we going to really last? And because you're afraid that it might not last, you kind of cut ties before you get hurt. You know what I mean? Ultimately, you're still hurting yourself because you're not giving the relationship a true, what do you call it? A true, what am I trying to say, y'all? Y'all know these are unedited. You're not a chance, a fair chance. You're not giving the relationship and that person a fair chance. So you got to do that first. Push past some of those fears that you may have, and make sure that your red flags are actually red flags and not trauma responses to what you've been through in the past. It's extremely important. So I'm going to say this again. Even when fear creeps in, especially the fear that a partner may walk away due to doubts about the future, it is important to respond with honesty rather than panic. Is that really what you want? Do you really want to leave? Or are you panicking because you're trying to not be hurt? Be honest. What do you want? What do you want? And with whom do you want it with? And make sure that person is on the same page with you. So doubt can be a natural part of any relationship, but it doesn't always mean the end of a relationship. So you can have doubts, you can have insecurities, you can need all the reassurance in the world. It doesn't mean that your relationship has to end if it's a good one and if it's something that the both of you want. You just got to work towards keeping it together. So open, honest communication, reassurance, quality time, and a willingness to work through uncertainties together. I can't reiterate that word enough. Together. It can turn fear into a beautiful future together. So instead of letting your insecurities take control of your relationship, both partners can use those moments of insecurity to deepen their understanding of each other, to strengthen their bond, and build a more secure and lasting connection. So if your relationship is meant to be, then move past your fear into your future. Every ball does not have to drop. You deserve to love, so embrace it. You deserve to be loved, so embrace it. You don't have to let your fear affect your future. So don't choose fear over your future.